Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today, we're going over the Battlefield 6 beta. Now, this isn't going to be a full comprehensive one. I plan to do that once the beta is finished, which we still have today, Sunday, and also next weekend on Saturday and Sunday to also do it as well. And I'll do as much as I can. But yeah, just in short, it's good. It looks and feels very similar to Battlefield 4. Okay, it's what we would expect, and also Battlefield 1. The sound design, the music, the detail, it all works well together and it runs great. I haven't had issues with performance or stutter very much. No major malfunctions, not even really any minor malfunctions. There is one where sometimes I go to shoot and my weapon is like semi-automatic fire instead of automatic, so that screws me a few times, but luckily that's pretty rare. For those that didn't like 2042 or want more of Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4 or even Battlefield 5 to a degree, yeah, this is it. Battlefield 6 is going to be exactly what you're looking for. Currently, right now, there's a 10% discount for pre-ordering, which drops it from $70 to $63, and the discount lasts until release. The release date will be October 10th, 2025. So far, the changes compared with Battlefield 4, we still have 4-player squads. We have 4 classes and not 5. And so, again, we're kind of pushing some of this stuff together. So we have an assault class and an engineer. That's basically what we expect. We have a sniper class with C4, which is kind of interesting or unique. And we're talking like full-blown C4, like wipe out an entire wall of a building. And then we also have a support class, which is also now the medic. So, and the support is also the slowest in the game, of course, when you're using the LMG. Well, if you are actually using the LMG, and we'll get into this a little bit more, you're actually not slowed down in your sprint speed, which is nice. Squads can actually be locked, and when we take a look at weapons, any weapon can be used with any class. Though now we also have something where you get perks if you actually use the expected weapon with the class, like LMG for support, or like a sniper rifle for a recon class. It looks like the gear is locked to a degree. Not everything is going to be available for everybody because we do have signature gadgets that are specific to the types of classes. Well, we won't know the sure extent of what equipment can actually go with which class until we actually get to release. So as for assault, as I mentioned earlier, there's perks if you actually use the expected weapon with the expected class. And so assault, if you use assault rifles, of course, you get a faster weapon draw and switch. Faster switch as well between weapons. Also, you get a better sprint recovery speed. Engineer is improved hip fire control with SMGs. Support gets better suppression effects. That one's kind of iffy. I'm not seeing that in all of the places, but in a few places. And then also, too, there's no penalty to sprint. And then you're also able to drop your ammo box, which is also your medic bag, all in one. With recon, if you're using sniper rifles, you're able to stabilize aim by holding breath. Faster rechambering between shots, and then you're also able to work toward unlocking kind of like a sonar or a radar ping to see enemies in the area. Kind of gives you walls between everybody. Many actually choose Assault and Engineer just like other Battlefield games between all of the classes. The settings are actually pretty vast, so we're talking about tweaking your sensitivity. The sensitivity right now is not as varied as I was kind of expecting. Maybe that'll be different actually in release, but yeah, we have sensitivity, we have toggling what buttons do what, different button mapping. We have a lot of kind of different graphical, even for console, which is kind of surprising. I'm currently playing on Xbox Series X. But just a quick tip is that if you want a better clear sight picture, make sure to turn your blur and filters off. So that you can actually have the best sight picture while actually playing the game. All of these are on by default. Overall, we do have slower movement in Battlefield compared to what we would think of with COD. But in some cases, the movement actually feels a little bit faster, maybe than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, and even Battlefield 5. But it still feels slower paced. You still have to be tactical. You still have to be very intentional with your shots. All of that is there like we would expect. And so, in short, too, we also have faster respawns, so you can get to the action faster, and then maps are also tighter on smaller maps, like on Domination mode a lot more corners, less open areas. And so, yeah, the action is always there in your face when you're playing. So some people use shotguns, and just getting one-shotted by shotguns can be frustrating. But yeah, the small maps are pretty freaking action-packed. Personally, I don't really think COD players are going to be kind of taken by Battlefield 6. Maybe some of them. Again, if you're a Battlefield player, you're going to love Battlefield 6. And while it may not be exactly everything that we'd want, you're going to be enjoying it. But again, if you're a Call of Duty player, you're not going to be used to the movement. You're not going to be used to the gun mechanics. Everything will look the same, but it's going to feel very, very different with all of these little teeny small changes. And again, you're not going to feel good learning and playing the game. So you're going to have to learn and adjust and adapt. And I think we'll definitely see Call of Duty players probably pick up the game and even playing through the beta. But again, they're not going to be overly interested, and I don't think most of them are going to stick around because, again, they're used to Call of Duty. They like Call of Duty. And that's why, like, Black Ops 6 this last quarter just hit 50 million players. Now, that could also be Black Ops 6 and or also be Call of Duty headquarters. We don't exactly know. That's just what Microsoft said in their earnings call. But again, overall, I don't think Call of Duty players are overly going to enjoy this. If you've been waiting for a more battle simulator experience, then yeah, Battlefield 6 is going to be great. If you want more of the arcade style, then yeah, Call of Duty is probably what you're going to be sticking with. So no, I don't think this is going to be a COD killer. I think some people will move over. Some people might like it more, or some people have been waiting for this. But I still think there's going to be plenty going over to COD. If Call of Duty actually dies, then it's going to be Call of Duty that kills it. It's not going to be Battlefield. Both games are for very different audiences, even though they're both first-person shooters. But yeah, some channels are misleading, I feel like, their audiences by saying that COD's going to die or whatever with Battlefield and whatever, and I just don't necessarily see that. It's very different games, very different styles, and two very different audiences. I'm also worried, too, a little bit about the monetization for Battlefield 6. We don't necessarily know exactly what that's going to look like, but I'm sure, XP boosts you'll be able to pay for and maybe some other stuff. And again, we don't know exactly how much content is going to be free, what you're going to be able to grind for, or what you're going to actually have to pay for. So we'll get to see more of that on release. Ultimately, lots of activity for the beta. SteamDB has over 500,000 players currently playing pretty much on Saturday, which was yesterday. PlayStation Time Tracker has Battlefield after one day being number 28 out of 100 on PlayStation, and then Xbox Series X after one day has playtime hours putting Battlefield 6 at number 27. So yeah, just after one day, there's a ton of people jumping on this. And PlayStation Time Tracker and Xbox Most Played, those numbers are going to continue to jump up throughout the week, and over the month or whatever. Once we get through the betas, and yeah, if you're interested in playing, you can do those. It's open right now on Sunday, and it's going to be open next week on Saturday and Sunday, where you can play some more. So as far as I know, we're not going to be getting any extra stuff for the beta. But what we have is what we get, with different modes, some different maps, being able to try vehicles in conquest mode, and also being able to try a few different weapons. It would be nice if there was more equipment. It would be nice if there were more weapons to test. But, we have what we have. But, yeah, the beta does run extremely well. It is fun. Personally, as a player that's been playing since Battlefield 2, since 2007, I really like this one. It's fun. Again, some people think this isn't going to go anywhere. And again, we'll have to see, which I totally don't think that's the case. There's a lot of people excited for this, like Simon B on YouTube. I think he might just be clickbaiting. But yeah, this is a very, very fun game. It's what we've been wanting. And it just shows, too, that, if you choose to not play the game, then ultimately they're going to change it and try to give you what you want. So just going over some older Battlefield games and their sales numbers, Battlefield 3 was 15 million units sold. Battlefield 4 was roughly around 40 or 50 million, according to EA earnings reports. And then Battlefield 1 was around 25 million units sold. Battlefield 5 was about 7.5 million. And 2042 was about 4.5 million. So again, Battlefield 5 and 2042 were not seen as successes. they did not hit the numbers. They probably want to get at least 10 million or more. And so again, yeah, when people aren't buying, and those are big drops. Battlefield 4 around 40 or 50 million, and Battlefield 1 around 25 million. Those are massive numbers, and they've made a ton of money for EA. But then again, when you have under 10 million for your next 2 iterations of the series, that doesn't look very good. So again, if you don't buy it, if you don't play it, then eventually the studios are going to listen to you, or they're just going to fail. And that's honestly what needs to happen with Call of Duty if, we want Call of Duty to be different, because it used to be the nitty-gritty like Battlefield, and now it's turned into something else. It's also very tight skill-based matchmaking and other issues, and also really bad, crappy servers. And I can tell you, even with just the beta servers are a lot better and more stable and a lot more higher quality than what Call of Duty has for their servers. And like, honestly, it's great. But I think when Battlefield 6 releases, there's going to be a ton of people that are going to buy it. But I don't think Battlefield 6 is quite going to sell as many as EA is hoping for. They're hoping for like a max of 100 million players eventually at some point for Battlefield. Also, we are going to be getting like a type of Warzone called Firestorm. That's going to be coming back. We actually had that in Battlefield 5. And even with the free-to-play aspect of that, I still don't think they're going to hit 100 million. So again, it's going to capture the people that want a simulator for a battle experience, and for those that still want a battle arcade experience, that's what Call of Duty is for. And I really don't think the numbers are overly going to change too much. My estimates for Battlefield 6, if they don't mess it up with monetization and updates, is that it'll probably hit around 15 or 20 million copies sold. That's my guess. So thanks for tuning in, folks. If you like what you see, go ahead and share the video. And also, too, you can follow me at Gaming Garbage 22 over at YouTube. We got a playlist there. There's a bunch of stuff. With that, I'll see you guys on the next one.